start with the most important question. What is it like getting a paycheck from Disney to helm Lion King and work on Star Wars stuff?
And Star Wars. And by the way, Marvel became Disney while I was working there on Iron Man 2. So I keep getting pulled deeper into the orbit of Disney. But fortunately, the stuff that Disney's working on is the stuff that I love, and I, wanted to do a Star Wars TV show like The Mandalorian and pitched it to them, and they were very open to it. I even wrote 4 episodes before I even was hired to do it because I was excited as a fan to see what these stories might be and see if they were interested in doing what I was interested in, which they were. So I was actually writing this season 2 this morning before I came here. And Lion King has been, a very different experience because here it was something where you're adhering very much to a story that people know very well. It's a huge team of people working towards a theatrical release and a great cast, and there's music and there's, visual effects that go into it. And it's a very long, slow process to create this, whatever it is, hour and 45-minute film while you're collaborating with hundreds of people. So sometimes I like to do smaller stuff, sometimes bigger, but you always have to have a great story that you want to tell. That's the thing, that's the guiding principle behind all of these things.
Something that, with this film, the technology to bring this to life is, my jaw was on the ground watching this in terms of the technology. I've spoken to some of the people involved in Mandalorian, and they talk about how you pushed the boundary with technology. Talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, share the technology you did for this and on Mandalorian, and like those things that you had to overcome to bring it to life.
So there's always opportunities with each new technological breakthrough, and Walt Disney, by the way, started that when he first started working with even Steamboat Willie. There was always technological breakthroughs associated. The underwater sequence of Pinocchio. It's been part of the game from the beginning. You want to tell great stories, but have new techniques. Right now, the big breakthrough for us was VR, but VR is really built around a game engine. In the case of doing the virtual production for Lion King, we use the Unity engine system. Magnopus is a company that helped us build a multiplayer VR filmmaking game so that we could take our digital environments, digital animated characters, and actually go in there with a film crew into the VR space. And so the VR was used for us to visualize and basically create a template for the shots that were cut together for the final film. And The Mandalorian, because we're doing live action production, we're using the Epic gaming game engine and using that to do real time in camera visual effects. And so if you visited the set for The Mandalorian, you would have seen a completely video wall wrapped stage, and we were in there filming the characters in the foreground, and oftentimes either blue screen or full digital versions of set extensions in the background with parallax, because the positional data of the camera was informing the backgrounds. And so it was like a translite that had perspective. And so that allowed us to have environments, as long as we could build them digitally and put enough work into planning it, we could have the game engine be used for creating effects in a time frame that allows us to get a TV season done. But all of that requires us to use the same VCAM techniques in pre-production on The Mandalorian so that we know exactly what we need to see. And so if you visited the set now, as we're starting to get into season 2, it looks a lot like the set of Lion King as we're planning how we're going to shoot it ahead of time.